In a very short time, Bud's Records right here in Cornwall became a hotspot and a very special place to many people. So many of us were very heartened to learn that despite the original owner's tragic passing, that his friend Jason would be taking it over, as well as his girlfriend Emily. And they're both joining me right now to talk a little bit more about taking over the store. So welcome to the show, Emily and Jason.
Hi, thanks for having us. Thank you.
So first of all, let's talk a little bit about the background and why you decided to move back to Cornwall and take over Bud's Records.
Well, the main reason obviously was fortunately Bud's passing. That was the one thing, obviously. But after that, was the fact that Angie was probably going to end up, because she is a mother of two boys and busy and everything, that she was probably just going to end up selling all the inventory and closing down the store. And so that didn't really sit well with me for thinking about it for a few days, and then thought about it, and it was actually well worth for us to come down and actually give it a shot, instead of seeing it close down. And I think the community is very supportive of it so far, so I think it was a good decision.
For sure. And Emily, maybe you can talk a little bit. Obviously, you've jumped full throttle into this with Jason. So what was going through your mind through all this?
I'm definitely supportive. For anybody who doesn't know, Angie is Bud's wife. I've definitely been there 100%. Like when we found out that she was just going to be like closing up the store because what else was she going to do? We were like, wow, that's a terrible thing to see happen, because Bud worked so hard for everything here with the store. And she didn't want that to happen either, and neither did anybody in the community. So so far everyone, including Angie and the community members so far, have been pretty supportive of us being here. Yeah.
That's excellent to hear. So what are you hoping to bring to the store, Jason? Obviously you want to keep it going, but I'm sure you want to put your own stamp on things as well.
Yeah, well, for the most part, the record store will remain the same. It's going to be Bud's Records, and we're going to try to keep the same kind of attitude and flow that it had going. But one nice addition that I am bringing in, because I was a collector myself of the format, is I'm bringing in Laserdisc movies, which are 12-inch movies as well. Like, kind of look like these, you can see. So they're kind of just for fun. I got some players. It's even more of a niche market than records. We'll have a little selection of that just here. But other than that, it's going to be relatively all the same.
All right, so talk to me about
Bud's presence, which is going to be the biggest void of it all. But
absolutely, and Bud's presence really was one of the special things. But talk to me a little bit more about that, about preserving maybe that special aspect that the record store did have, because we know that it really was beloved in the community before all this.
Yeah, definitely living up to Bud's is gonna be a tough thing, right? Because Bud was a unique man. But as far as the shop itself, again, we're gonna try to just remain it the same. We got records. We're gonna try to keep it cool. We're gonna try to keep listen to what the community is looking for and bring it in. Try to also bring in fun things like draws and 50/50s and whatnot, and auctions as well, because definitely the community was loving that kind of stuff. So we want to keep doing that fun things.
Obviously, we talk to a lot of different businesses, owners, and ventures, and we know the passion's always there. But for you, this is really a labor of friendship as well. So maybe talk to me about that and why this is so special. Despite the tragic circumstances, to come in and really do this for your friend.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, me and Bud had a relationship that was basically just bonded purely on music, but it obviously hit other levels, but it was music. It was rock and roll, garage rock, punk rock kind of attitude, psychedelic, whatnot, and it kind of grew like that. Whenever I met Bud, just randomly, I'd heard about him throughout the city, and I hadn't met him, and then I met him, I crossed paths with him randomly on a bus, which I was kind of told later that Bud was never on a bus, so it was kind of fate maybe at that point, but we met, and we both started talking about rock and roll right away. And then that night we added each other on Facebook, talked, and then figured out that he was living just behind my house, like a street behind. So it was right away we started hanging out. We were hanging out late nights, building even guitars together, searching bands and just growing like that, you know, and just sharing each other's influences and latest finds, and it just kept going like that, and eventually it was kind of transformed into like, let's jam, let's create some music together, and that kind of grew, and then eventually I was kind of, after years of doing that, it was more kind of, Bud started up the store, and that was great, and I was working on my career path kind of with just construction work and whatnot, so it was kind of, we kind of put the music on hold, but it always felt like it was something we could just jump back into, right? And even though we were an hour apart, it didn't really mean too much because we had been doing it for so long, so just, it was kind of, it was definitely music friendship for sure, our relationship, yeah.
And that's what the store is all about, right, is the music. So maybe we could just finish off. You know, we know that there's a lot of different options now for listening to music. You know, everything, a lot of things have gone digital, but vinyl really has a special quality. So maybe talk to me a little bit about that and just why vinyl is still so special to listen to.
Yeah, well, because that definitely the sound quality, like you mentioned, is definitely like super, and even my own experiences of listening to MP3 versions of an album, and then finally getting my hands on a copy of, you hear details that you weren't hearing in lower grade probably MP3s that I was finding myself, right? So there, and then you just feel it, and it's just the collector part of it. It's, you know, it's, if you're a collector as a kid, anything, hockey cards, whatnot, I'm not trying to compare them to because it's different, but it's just, it's a step up. It's rock and roll. It's awesome. You know, you get to pop it on. Listen to it. It's great. It's a vibe from it. They're amazing.
Absolutely, and we can see around you, you know, that there's so many records. Just a great variety for anybody who's been in the store. They know the great variety that's at Bud's Records. So on that note, Jason and Emily, I'd like to thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for doing this. Welcome back to Cornwall. Thank you for taking this on, and best of luck as Bud's Records hopefully continues to flourish.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys having us. Thank you.